Clear light.
Hari Om. Namaste, Namaste, Hari Om. Namaste to all. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Shrotriya Brahmanishta Sadguru Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati and the entire Guru Parampara on behalf of all of us, today's discourse on the Viveka Chudamani will continue. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah, Om Mahasaraswatyai Namah, Sadashiva Samarambham, Sri Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam, Shruti Smruti Purananamayam, Karunalayam, Namami Bhagavad-padam, Shankaram Loka Shankaram, Shankaram Shankaracharyam, Keshavam Badarayanam, Sutra Bhashyakrito Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah, Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam, Govindam Paramanandam Satgurum Pranatosmyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya. Harihi Om. Last time we had stopped at the shloka number 550, verse number 550. From 551 onwards, today's discourse will continue. As repeatedly told earlier, this discourse is mainly inspired and based on the commentary, the bhashyam given by Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, Jagadguru of Sringeri Peetham, on this Viveka Chudamani. We are at the fag end of the Upasamhara of the Viveka Chudamani, wherein Sadguru Acharya is once again explaining with all that pleasant smile on his lotus lips the importance of being realized and how a Jivan Mukta, a Jnani, a realized Mahatman lives in the world, how he looks upon the world. And he continues on that. Jivan Muktana ಮಹಾಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಣಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಉಪಸಂಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಶಂಕರರು ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ. ನೈವೇಂದ್ರಿಯಾಣಿ ವಿಷಯೇಷು ನಿಯುಕ್ತ ಏಷ ನೈವಾಪಯುಕ್ತ ಉಪದರ್ಶನ ಲಕ್ಷಣಸ್ಥಃ ನೈವ ಕ್ರಿಯಾಫಲಮಪಿ ಈಷದ್ ಅವೇಕ್ಷತೆ ಸಹ ಸ್ವಾನಂದ ಸಾಂದ್ರರಸಪಾನ ಸುಮುತ್ತ ಚಿತ್ತಃ. 4 line 4 ಚರಣ ಶ್ಲೋಕ. ನೈವೇಂದ್ರಿಯಾಣಿ ವಿಷಯೇಷು ನಿಯುಕ್ತ ಏಷ ನೈವಾಪಯುಕ್ತ ಉಪದರ್ಶನ ಲಕ್ಷಣಸ್ಥಃ ನೈವ ಕ್ರಿಯಾಫಲಮಪಿ ಈಷದ್ ಅವೇಕ್ಷತೆ ಸಾ ಸ್ವಾನಂದ ಸಾಂದ್ರ ರಸಪಾನ ಸುಮತ್ತ ಚಿತ್ತಃ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಆತ ನೋಡುತ್ತಿದ್ರೂ ನೋಡುತ್ತಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೇಳುತ್ತಿದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳುತ್ತಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರೂ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೇವಲ ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಭೂತನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ತನ್ನ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳನ್ನ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು, ಇಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡಬೇಕು, ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತು ಆ ವಿಷಯಗಳಿಂದ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳನ್ನು ಹಿಂತೆಗೆಯುವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏಷ ಉಪದರ್ಶನ ಲಕ್ಷಣಸ್ಥಃ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಉಪದರ್ಶನ ಲಕ್ಷಣಸ್ಥ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿದಂತಹ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯು ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಾಣಿನ ಏವ ವಿಷಯೇಷು ನಿಯುಕ್ತೆ ನ ಏವ ಅಪಯುಕ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳನ್ನ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಯೋಜಿಸುವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವುಗಳಿಂದ ಹಿಂತೆಗೆಯುವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೇವಲ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ರೂಪದಿಂದ ಅವಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ. ಆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಭಾವತ್ವ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಉಪದರ್ಶನ ಲಕ್ಷಣಸ್ಥಃ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಕರ್ಮಫಲಗಳನ್ನ ದೇಹ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಶರೀರ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗಮನ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಯು ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಆ ಮುಕ್ತನಾದಂತಹ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯು ಸದಾ ಸ್ವಾತ್ಮಾನಂದ ರಸಪಾನದಿಂದ ಮತ್ತನಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. So here in this shloka, Acharya is explaining how in the ecstatic, joyful, blissful nature all the time ever existing, Jnani, a realized Mahatman, has become himself Sat Swarupa, Chit Swarupa and Ananda Swarupa. He himself is Ananda Swarupa. He is drunk with the elixir of bliss, Brahmananda. So he doesn't bother about anything else. So Acharya says, his mind is full of ecstasy because of the Brahmananda. He is Ananda Swarupa himself. He is an ocean of bliss himself. He is always ever satisfied. So he does not direct his sense organs. Na eva indriyani vishayeshu niyunte, Acharya says. He does not direct his sense organs towards sense objects. Nor does he use the sense organs. That means what? Na eva apayunkte. Na eva apayunkte. Neither he tells his sense organs to experience the world, nor he is bothered about the sense organs seeing the world. That means he is in his own blissful mood, though the physical body with the five senses are acting in the world. The eyes are seeing, the tongue may be tasting the food or the water as the need arises. He may be hearing the sounds from others. He may be touching, he may be smelling. All these sense organs of his body, they are functioning, but he is not affected by them. He is least bothered to use the sense organs in a particular direction. He is unconcerned because he is a pure, mere spectator. He is a pure, mere witness to the things going on in the world called delusion. In this transitory world, phenomenal world, which he knows by himself that it is purely a delusion, he remains as a pure witness. So for that, Acharya is using a beautiful phrase here for a jnani. Acharya says, so a jnani is upadarshana lakshanastaha. He remains without any change, without being affected, as a pure witness to the things happening around him, around his body. That is why elsewhere Acharya has said, jnani sees, but yet he will not see. A jnani will hear, yet he will not hear. A jnani will smell, yet he will not smell. All these are lakshanas. Because he is not concerned. He is no more affected, no more influenced by the play of the Maya, the delusion that is responsible for this creation itself, which is responsible for avarana and vikshepa. Both the potency, the power of the Maya, avarana and vikshepa, is totally cut as far as the jnani is concerned, because he remains in his own pure, absolute state of awareness. He is nothing but pure awareness. He is a prajnana ghana. So nor he is bothered about the karma phala, the fruits of the actions his body performs. He is least bothered because he is always in that ever satisfied, blissful mood of Brahmana. And Acharya continues. continues. Next sloka. Lakshagatim tyaktva yastishtatyevala atmana Shiva eva swayam sakshat ayam brahma viduttamaha. Lakshagatim tyaktva yastishtatyevala atmana Shiva eva swayam sakshat ayam ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ವಿದುತ್ತಮಃ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶಿವ ಏವ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ವಿದುತ್ತಮ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠನಾದಂಥವನು ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶಿವನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಆತನಿಗೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಅಲಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಗುರಿಯಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೇವಲ ಆತ್ಮರೂಪದಿಂದಲೇ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶಿವಸ್ವರೂಪನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯಗತಿಂ ತ್ಯಕ್ತ್ವಾ ಯಸ್ತಿಷ್ಠೇತ್ ಕೇವಲ ಆತ್ಮನ ಶಿವ ಏವ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಅಯಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ವಿದುತ್ತಮ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸೇಸ್ ಅಯಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ವಿದುತ್ತಮ ಶಿವ ಏವ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್. ಸ್ವಯಂ ಶಿವ ಏವ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್. ಸೊ ದಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ವೆರಿಲಿ ರಿಮೈನ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಶಿವ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ದಿ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ, the superior most Brahmajnani is nothing but Shiva himself. By giving up all thoughts, all sankalpas and vikalpas, by giving up all such desires that as what should be known, what should not be known, such points, by completely discarding, who remains solely as Atma Swarup. So such a Brahmajnani is Shiva himself. Next Acharya says, next landmark shloka, as our Gurudev used to always mention some of the shlokas in Viveka Chudamani, to always remember and catch them in our mind permanently, etch them in our mind permanently. So next shloka, landmark shloka, Acharya says, Jivanneva sada muktaha krutartho brahma vittamaha ಉಪಾದಿನಾಶಾತ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೈವ ಸನ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಪ್ಯೇತಿ ನಿರ್ದ್ವಯಂ. ಜೀವನ್ನೇವ ಸದಾ ಮುಕ್ತಃ ಕೃತಾರ್ಥೋ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿತ್ತಮಃ ಉಪಾದಿನಾಶಾತ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೈವ ಸನ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಪ್ಯೇತಿ ನಿರ್ದ್ವಯಂ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವನು ಬದುಕಿದ್ದಾಗಲೇ, ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಶರೀರ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೇ, ಈ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೇ, ಬದುಕಿರುವ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯ ಮುಕ್ತನು ಕೃತಾರ್ಥನೂ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನಪ್ಪ ವತ್ಸ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಆತ ಮೊದಲು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದು, ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪನೇ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಈ ಉಪಾಧಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ದೇಹ, ಈ ಶರೀರ ನಾಶವಾದ ಮೇಲೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮರಣ ಹೊಂದಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗಲೂ ಅದ್ವಯವಾದ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವನ್ನೇ ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಆತ ಮೊದಲು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪನ್ನನಾದಂತಹ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯು ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯವಾದ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆತ ಮೊದಲು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ದೇಹ ಹೋದ ನಂತರವೂ ಸಹ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ. So here Acharya makes it very clear. ಜೀವನ್ನೇವ ಸದಾ ಮುಕ್ತಃ ಕೃತಾರ್ಥಃ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿತ್ತಮಃ ಉಪಾದಿನಾಶಾತ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಪ್ಯೇತಿ ನಿರ್ದ್ವಯಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೈವ ಸನ್. So a jnani, a realized soul, even while living or while alive, is ever free and liberated, having realized the Paramapurushartha, the purpose of the life, having realized, and by destroying the upadhi, That is, after giving up the body, after Sharira Tyaga, he is Brahma alone. He attains that Brahmahood. He remains the pure, ever, never changing, total, supreme consciousness. At the highest level, he becomes that absolute himself. For that, Acharya gives an example in the next shloka to explain this. ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಶೈಲೂಷೋ ವೇಷ ಸದ್ಭಾವ ಅಭಾವ ಯೋಶ್ಚ ಯಥಾ ಪುಮಾನ್ ತಥೈವ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿತ್ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠಃ ತದಾ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೈವ ನಾಪರಃ. ಶೈಲೂಷೋ ವೇಷ ಸದ್ಭಾವ ಅಭಾವ ಯೋಶ್ಚ ಯಥಾ ಪುಮಾನ್ ತಥೈವ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿತ್ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠಃ ತದಾ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೈವ ನಾಪರಃ. ನಾಪರಃ ನ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಪರಃ ನಾಪರಃ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಏವ ನ ಅಪರಃ. ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು? ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ನಟ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪಾತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ಆ ಪಾತ್ರದ ವೇಷಭೂಷಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಆ ವೇಷಧಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾತ್ರಾಭಿನಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾಟಕ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ವೇಷಗಳನ್ನ ಕಳಚಿಟ್ರೂ ಸಹ, ಹೇಗೆ ಮೊದಲಿಂದನೂ ಆತನು ಆ ಪುರುಷನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೋ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠನಾದಂತಹ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲೊಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ, ಇದು ಹಿಂದೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ, ಒಬ್ಬ ರಾವಣನ ಪಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ದೇವದತ್ತ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಯುವಕ ರಾವಣನ ಪಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಆ ದೇವದತ್ತ ರಾವಣನ ಪಾತ್ರಧಾರಿಯಾಗುವ ಮೊದಲು ಸಹ ಆತನು ದೇವದತ್ತನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ರಂಗದ ಮುಂದೆ ರಾವಣ ವೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗಲೂ ಸಹ ಆತ ದೇವದತ್ತನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನಾಟಕ ಮುಗಿದ ನಂತರ ಆತ ತನ್ನ ರಾವಣ ವೇಷವನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿಕೊಂಡ ನಂತರವೂ ಆತ ದೇವದತ್ತನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪರೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಈ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ what Acharya gives here, Shailusha, an actor, Vesha Sadbhava, Abhavayoscha Yatha Puman. Now in this example, Shailusha means an actor. So when an actor, Acharya says, elsewhere he has used the same example. Let us imagine a person, an actor called Devadatta, is enacting the role of Ravana on the stage. The story of Ramayana is being enacted. And this actor called Devadatta, even before he dons the makeup of the Ravana, he is always Devadatta. Even while he is acting the part of Ravana on the stage, he is Devadatta only. After the drama is over, when he removes the makeup and the dress of the Ravana character, he still remains Devadatta only. There is no change. There is no change for the identity of the actor. It remains all the time same. That is the example. So in that way, an actor always remains the same man, whether he puts on the attire of a particular character on the stage or not. So too, a Brahmajnani, a realized Mahatman, always remains as a Brahmavit, not anything else. A Brahmajnani always remains as a Brahmavit, not anything else. Next shloka. ಯತ್ರ ಕ್ವಾಪಿ ವಿಶೀರ್ಣಂ ಸತ್ ಪರ್ಣಮಿವ ತರೋರ್ವಪುಃ ಪತತಾತ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೀಭೂತಸ್ಯ ಯತೆ ಪ್ರಾಗೇವ ತಚ್ಚಿದಗ್ನಿನಾ ದಗ್ಧಂ. ಯತ್ರ ಕ್ವಾಪಿ ವಿಶೀರ್ಣಂ ಸತ್ ಪರ್ಣಮಿವ ತರೋರ್ವಪುಃ ಪತತಾತ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೀಭೂತಸ್ಯ ಯತೆ ಪ್ರಾಗೇವ ಹಿ ತಚ್ಚಿದಗ್ನಿನಾ ದಗ್ಧಂ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಒಂದು ಮರದಿಂದ, ವೃಕ್ಷದಿಂದ ಹಣ್ಣಾದ ನಿರ್ಜೀವವಾದ ಎಲೆ ಉದುರಿ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಯಾದರೂ ಬೀಳಲಿ, ಜೀವವಿಲ್ಲದ ಹಣ್ಣಾದ ಎಲೆ ಮರದಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯಾದರೂ ಬೀಳಲಿ, ಆ ಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮರ ಮರವಾಗೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲೆಗಳು ಉದುರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಥಾಸ್ಥಿತಿಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪನೇ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ಶರೀರ ಈ ಮರದಿಂದ ಉದುರಿದ ಎಲೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬೀಳಲಿ, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆತನ ಶರೀರ ಮೊದಲೇ ಜ್ಞಾನಾಗ್ನಿಯಿಂದ, ಜ್ಞಾನೋತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನಾಗ್ನಿಯಿಂದ ಸುಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಉಪಮಾನ ಸಮೇತವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ಜ್ಞಾನೋತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯಾದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಆತನಿಗೂ ಆತನ ಶರೀರಕ್ಕೂ ಸಂಬಂಧವೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗಲಿ, ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಮುಗಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಆ ಶರೀರದ ಆಯುಷ್ಯ ತೀರಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾದರೂ ಮರಣ ಸಂಭವಿಸಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಯಾದರೂ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾದರೂ ಮರಣ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿದ್ರು ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಯಾವ ಸಂಬಂಧವೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಶರೀರದ ತಾದಾತ್ಮ್ಯ ಭಾವವನ್ನು ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಎಂದೋ ಹೊಡೆದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದ. ನಾನು ಈ ಶರೀರ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವವೇ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಶರೀರ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬೀಳಲಿ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಭಾವನೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸೊ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ is take here an example again. Let the body fall anywhere after the death, like a dead leaf falls out from the tree. Jnani is not worried at all. Just like the tree is not bothered where the dead leaf is going to fall. So when the leaf dries up, the leaves will fall. They are carried out. They just fall out. The tree is not bothered. In the same way, when the body dies off, in any form, anywhere, the jnani is not bothered. Because his body is already burned by the jnanagni, the knowledge, the fire of the knowledge. He remains only as a burnt seed. His body is only like a burnt seed. Technically, in the spiritual sense, Acharya says, the moment the reality is dawned, the moment realization occurs, Jnani cuts off his association with his own body, physical body, which includes subtle body also. He is cuts off. So he is least bothered where the body will fall, how the body will go away, how the death will occur. He is not bothered at all. That is the point Acharya says. How a jnani, a realized one, looks upon his own body. There is no attachment. He is not passionate about the body anymore. That is the point. So again, Acharya further clarifies this point in the next 4-line shloka. Sadatmani brahmani tishtato mune purnadvayananda mayatmana sada na desha kalat yuchita pratiksha tvakmamsa vitpinda visarjanaya. Sadatmani brahmani tishtato mune purnadvayananda mayatmana sada na desha kalat yuchita pratiksha tvakmamsa vitpinda visarjanaya. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಸತ್ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾದ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಅದ್ವಯ ಆನಂದ ರೂಪದಿಂದ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮುನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ, ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಕೇವಲ ಚರ್ಮ ಮಾಂಸ ಮೂಳೆ ಮಲಗಳ ಮುದ್ದೆಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಶರೀರವನ್ನ, ಈ ಭೌತಿಕ ಶರೀರವನ್ನ ತ್ಯಜಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತ್ಯಾಗ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮರಣ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಉಚಿತವಾದಂತಹ ದೇಶ ಕಾಲ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿಗಳ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ. ಇಂತಹ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಶರೀರವನ್ನು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು, ಇಂತಹ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಶರೀರವನ್ನು ತ್ಯಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಂತಹ ಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಶರೀರವನ್ನು ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮರಣ ಹೊಂದಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಯಾವ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಯಾವ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯಾವ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯಾವ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲಿ, ಎಂತಹ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲಿ, ಭೂಮಿಯಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ, ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ, ಅಗ್ನಿಯಿಂದಾಗಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಈ ದೇಹ ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೋದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಮರಣ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಯು ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಭಾವನೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Acharya says to the Muni, that is a Jnani here, who always remains in that Brahmananda sthiti, who always remains as a ocean of bliss, who has always realized himself, he remains as Atmaswarupa, Anandamaya Atmaswarupa. He himself is Anandaswarupa. In that condition, so there is no consideration for a jnani of the space, time, or appropriateness in discarding the body, his own physical body. A jnani is not bothered about the place where his body has to fall, how the death should occur, at what time the body has to fall, auspicious time, inauspicious time, a particular point in the daytime, or a particular tithi. All these things, Jnani is not bothered. He doesn't even think on those. So while discarding the body during the death, Jnani is not bothered about the time and the auspiciousness of the place, appropriateness of the place, etc., because he knows the body, the physical body, is full of filth, fecal matter, skin and muscles. Acharya says here, he uses a phrase, Tvak mamsa vitpinda visarjanai. The body is Tvak mamsa vitpinda. Pinda means physical. What is this physical body? This is a baggage of the filth, fecal matter, urine plus feces, plus skin, muscles, and bones, nothing else. What is this baggage? This so-called our body is a baggage of outer skin covering the muscles, bones, fecal matter, filth, and urine inside. So Jnani is not bothered to discard the body, on what day the body should go. That means on which particular auspicious moment the death should take place. He is least bothered. He is no way concerned. No way concerned. Because the next landmark shloka, Acharya makes it very, very clear. In short, Acharya comes to the core point. Next shloka. ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಬಹಳ ಮಹತ್ವಪೂರ್ಣವಾದಂತಹ ಶ್ಲೋಕ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ದೇಹಸ್ಯ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ನ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ನ ದಂಡಸ್ಯ ಕಮಂಡಲೋ ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಹೃದಯ ಗ್ರಂಥಿ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ಯತಸ್ತತಃ. ದೇಹಸ್ಯ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ನ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ನ ದಂಡಸ್ಯ ಕಮಂಡಲೋ ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಹೃದಯ ಗ್ರಂಥಿ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ಯತಸ್ತತಃ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ, ಈ ಅವಿದ್ಯೆ, ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಅನ್ನುವ ಹೃದಯ ಗ್ರಂಥಿ ಕಳಚಿ ಹೋಗುವುದೇ ನಿಜವಾದ ಮೋಕ್ಷಪ್ಪ. ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ, ಅವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹೃದಯ ಗ್ರಂಥಿ ಒಡೆದು ಹೋಗುವುದು, ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಹೋಗುವುದು, ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ನಾಶವಾಗುವುದು. ಅವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ನಾಶ ಆಗುವುದೇ ನಿಜವಾದ ಮೋಕ್ಷ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ದೇಹವನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಮರಣ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಹ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮರಣ ಬಂದಾಗ ದೇಹ ನಿರ್ಜೀವವಾಗಿ ಬೀಳುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದೇಹ ಬಿಡೋದು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮರಣ ಬರೋದು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲ. ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಮರಣ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿಯ ಬಾಹ್ಯ ಪ್ರತೀಕಗಳಾದಂತಹ ಚಿಹ್ನೆಗಳಾದಂತಹ ದಂಡ, ಕಮಂಡಲು, ಕಾಷಾಯ ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಬಹಳ ಮಾರ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಂಡವನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಕಮಂಡಲವನ್ನು ಬಿಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಕಾಷಾಯ ವಸ್ತ್ರ ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ಈ ದೇಹ ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ಇದು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದು ಮೋಕ್ಷ? ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಥವಾ ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಅನ್ನುವ ಹೃದಯ ಗ್ರಂಥಿಯ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ವಿನಾಶ. ನಿಜವಾದ ಅರ್ಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಜ್ಞಾನದ ವಿನಾಶವೇ ಮೋಕ್ಷ, ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಗ್ರಂಥಿಯ ವಿನಾಶವೇ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So here Acharya is making it very clear. Just by giving up the body during death, by giving up the body during death, or by giving up the staff, the prop, the staff which represents the statehood of a sannyas, of a yati. So by giving up the staff or the water pot, kamandal means water pot, which are all the characteristic features of a sannyasi, of a sadhu, of a yati, who wears ochre clothes normally, who carries a water pot normally, who carries a danda or the staff normally. So Acharya is talking on those lines. By giving up the staff or the danda or the water pot or the ochre cloths, or by giving up the body, is not real moksha, not salvation. It is not the real salvation or liberation. But by cutting the knot of ajnana, by completely cutting the knot, K-N-O-T, knot of ajnana or avidya, is the real liberation. Avidya hridaya granthi moksha, Acharya says. Only when the knot of ajnana is cut, that is the state of realization. That is liberation. So, the enlightened soul becomes Atma Swarupa himself. And there is no question of, again, rebirth at all. No question of coming back to the samsara. There is no rebirth at all. The soul, the exalted soul, becomes purely Brahma Swarupa, Atma Swarupa. Next, he continues, Acharya. Kulyayamath nadyam va shivakshetrepi chatpare parnam patati chetena taro kim nu shubhashubham. Again, he takes the example of the tree and the dead leaf. The tree and the dead leaf example. Kulyayam athanadyam va shivakshetrepi chatvare parnam patati chetena taro kim nu shubhashubham. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಅದೇ ಹಿಂದೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಮರದ ಹಣ್ಣಾದ ಎಲೆ, ಜೀವ ಕಳೆದುಕೊಂಡಂತಹ ಎಲೆ, ಬಾಡಿದ ಎಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದರು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ? ಗಾಳಿಯ ಹೊಡೆತಕ್ಕೆ, ಗಾಳಿಯ ರಭಸ ಬೀಸುವ ಹೊಡೆತಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಹಣ್ಣಾದ ಎಲೆ ಮರದಿಂದ ಅದು ಕಾಲುವೆಯಲ್ಲಾರು ಬೀಳ್ಲಿ, ಹಳ್ಳದಲ್ಲಾರು ಬೀಳ್ಲಿ, ನದಿಯಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಬೀಳ್ಲಿ, ಪವಿತ್ರವಾದ ಶಿವಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ 4 ರಸ್ತೆಗಳು ಸೇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಹೆದ್ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಬೀಳ್ಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಬೀಳ್ಲಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಶುಭ ಅಥವಾ ಅಶುಭ ಅನ್ನೋದೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮರದ ಎಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಏನಂತೆ, ಮರಕ್ಕೂ ಉದುರಿದ ಎಲೆಗೂ ಯಾವ ಸಂಬಂಧವೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Pulyayam Athanadyam Va Shivakshetre Pichatvare. Chatvare means where the four roads meet. That is a circle where four important roads converge. Chatvare. Shivakshetre, an important religious place, auspicious place. Kulyayam, a channel, a rivulet. Nadyam, a river, whatever it is. So Acharya is giving this example. Paranam patati chet. Kena taro kim nu shubha shubham. Taro means tree. So in this shloka, Acharya says, Pulyayam, Athanadyam, Va Shivakshetre Chatvare, Paranam Patati Chetena Taroha Kim no Shubha Shubham. Whether the dry, dead leaf from a tree due to the wind force blowing, whether it falls on a stream or in a gutter, narrow gutter, or in a river, or in a auspicious Shivakshetra temple premises, or in a circle where four roads meet, wherever, when the dead leaf falls from the tree, what happens? It does not matter for the tree. The tree doesn't bother at all. It is ever standing still. Sthavara. It is unmoving. Let the dead leaf fall anywhere. The tree is not at all affected. That is the example, Acharya. Whether the leaf falls in an auspicious place, in a temple premises, or in a gutter, or in a river, or in a pond, or on a road, or on a rock, whatever, the tree is not bothered. Because it is a dead leaf. Nothing. Tree is not affected. Paranam patati chetena taro kimnu shubha shubham. Neither there is shubha nor there is ashubha. Neither it is auspicious nor it is inauspicious for the tree as far as where the dead leaf is fallen. Has fallen. This example, Acharya. A beautiful example, Acharya. So Jnani is not, that means Jnani is not bothered. Jnani never thinks of the death of the body. It is going to happen according to prarabdha. According to the prarabdha of the body, for which Jnani has no concern at all. When the time comes, after the completion period, the body, the physical body of a Jnani falls away. It dies. Jnani, is he bothered? Absolutely not. Wherever the death occurs, he is not bothered. Whether his body falls on the road, whether his body falls in the river, whether his body falls on the circle, he is not bothered. That is a point. All Mahatmans absolutely, who have realized themselves, absolutely they know this point. The disciples around the Mahapurushas may wonder, but the Jnani is not bothered about his own body at the time of the death. People around the Mahapurusha, people around surrounding the Jnani, they start weeping and shouting and all dramas. They continue in their mode of ajnana, but the Jnani who is about to give up the body is least bothered about this play of consciousness, the play of delusion, the Maya going on around him. One or two small examples to make this point very clear. See, in South India, near Chennai, long back, there was a great saint, Vallalar Ramalinga Swami. Ramalinga Swami Vallalar, great poet and a saint, who initiated so many people into the virtuous life, who influenced so many people, who in fact was well known in South India. And the Ramalinga Swami, when the time came to give up his body, you know what happened? In the place, small village, now it's a beautiful place, Mettukuppam, in a place called Mettukuppam, where he was living in a single room apartment during the last days, he told his disciples, Ramalinga Swami, Vallala Ramalinga Swami told his disciples that now I will go inside this room and lock from inside. You also lock the door from outside. I am going to give up the body. I am going to give up the body. So don't open the lock. Don't peep inside. On a particular day, he announced. Hundreds of people gathered. It all happened recently in the year 1874, not 500 years back, in Mettukuppam, in South India. Ramalinga Swami entered his one-room apartment, small house-like dwelling. He closed the door from inside, and outside locks were put as per his adesha, and his disciples and people started waiting. So many days, nothing happened. No sign of anything. People were curious to know what has happened. Human nature. Hundreds of people gathered. Then the collector of the area came. Some complaint was given, and a collector, at those days, remember, it was under British rule. So he forced the people to open the door from outside. The lock was broken. The door was open, the one-room house. And people rushed inside to see the dead body, assuming the decayed dead body they thought they could see of Ramalinga Swami. But for their surprise, there was no body at all. Not a single iota of remains of any physical body residue. No bones, no muscles, no tissues, nothing, no skeleton, no putrefied smell, no bad smell, nothing of that sort. It is recorded in the Madras Gazetteer at that time in the year 1874. In the year 1874, all these things are recorded. Britishers, the resident collector was astonished. How a human, an Indian, going inside, locking himself inside, after a few days, when the door is open, his dead body is not there. It has become invisible. So such things happen. Swami Ramatirth, the famous Ramatirth of North India, who was roaming in the Himalayas, who is actually originally from the Gujranwala area of the then Punjab, undivided, now it is in Pakistan. And by chance meeting of Swami Vivekananda in Lahore, he was transformed. He became a sannyasi, though he was at that time MSc in mathematics. He was a college professor at Lahore himself. Then he discarded everything, his family, wife, children. He became a mendicant, sannyasi. Famous Swami Ramatirth Maharaj. Then what happened? In 1906, he was roaming in the foothills of Himalaya. And one fine day, he decided in 1906, in the year 1906, to simply give up the body. It's enough. It has served the purpose. He spread the Advaita Vedanta throughout his life as a mission. A great Mahatma. And what happened in front of people watching? He simply jumped into the river Ganga and vanished. He announced that he is discarding this, throwing out this body, and jumped. Some people even today think that he has committed suicide. Unfortunate people who are in the mode of ajnana. He voluntarily said he is discarding this body He doesn't want to carry this baggage anymore. With that announcement, he jumped and nowhere his body appeared. Somebody tried to find out. They could not find his body at all. He simply vanished. Even in the beginning of the 13th century, almost the not beginning, end of 13th century, in the year 1296, in the year 1296 AD, near Pune, in the small village Alandi, Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj, a great incarnate of Dattavatara, he announced at the age of 21, my work is over. And I am going to give up the body. He told his disciples that he will enter into a small cave, natural cave, a natural cave in the village Alandi near Pune. And he told them to close from outside by the boulders and rocks. And people did that. His disciples closed it. So he took Sajiva Samadhi. So while living, he entered into Samadhi. He said, my work is over. I am going to cast off this body. That was at the age of 21. When his physical body was just 21-year-old, he discarded the body. He entered into Sajiva Samadhi. Similar thing happened in Nerur around 150, 170 years back, when Avadhuta Shikhamani Sri Sadashiva Brahmendra Mahaswamigal announced to the people in the village called Nerur, near Karur, big city, on the banks of Kaveri. In that village called Nerur, he spotted a spot. He told that I will enter into Bhu Samadhi here. Close it when I enter, when I go down. So while living, he entered into the burial pit and people closed it. That is again called Sajiva Samadhi, Jiva Samadhi. Sadashiva Brahmendra Mahaswami took Jiva Samadhi. Our Sringeri Jagat Guru Sri Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal took Jala Samadhi. He entered into Tunga River early morning 4:30 on the Mahalaya Amavasya day in the year 1954, before the commencement of Navaratri. One day earlier, early morning 4:30, he entered into Tunga River and he cast off the body. That's called Jala Samadhi. So there is no rule. Jnanis, they are least bothered about the death of their own physical body, because no more they have identified themselves with their own physical body. That is what Acharya says here. Pulyayam athanadyam va shivakshetre pichatvare parnam patati chetena taro kim nu shubha shubham. Just like when the dry, lifeless, dead leaf from a tree falls anywhere, the tree is not bothered. A Brahmajnani is not bothered. He is Atma Swarupa himself. He is Paramatma Swarupa himself. He is Brahma Swarupa himself. He is not bothered where his physical body will be thrown out at the time of death. Least bothered. People around him, Ajnanis, are maybe they are bothered, but he is not. So that is the point here. Same thing Acharya continues. Patrasya pushpasya phalasya nashavat dehendriya pranadhiyam vinashaha naivatmanah swasya sadatmakasya anandakrute vrakshavat asti chaishaha. Patrasya pushpasya phalasya nashavat dehendriya pranadhiyam vinashaha naivatmanah swasya sadatmakasya Ananda krute vrkshavadasya chaishaha. ಈ ಒಂದು ವೃಕ್ಷದ ಮರದ ಎಲೆ ಹೂವು ಅಥವಾ ಹಣ್ಣು ತಾನಾಗಿಯೇ ಸಮಯ ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ನಾಶವಾಗುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ದೇಹ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ, ಪ್ರಾಣ, ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ತಾನೇ ನಾಶವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಮರಣದ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಸತ್ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ಆನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಯತಿಗೆ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಏನೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆತ ಆ ವೃಕ್ಷದ ಹಾಗೆ ಅವಿನಾಶಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. What Acharya says here, the destruction of the body, physical body, the sense organs, the prana, buddhi, just like the destruction of a dry leaf or a withered flower or a ripe fruit of the tree. So for a jnani, it is something like, just like a dry leaf or a withered flower or a ripened fruit falls away from the tree and the tree is not bothered. So for a jnani, the destruction of his own body with the sense organs, with the prana, with the buddhi, manas, etc., are like that. He is not bothered. He is not carried, because it is destruction of the body means it is not at all the destruction of the Atman. It always survives. And he is Atma Swarup. He knows. So that is the point. Acharya says. Prajnanagana ityatma lakshanam satya sochakam anudyopadikasyaiva atayanti vinashanam. He makes it clear again, 2-line shloka. Prajnanagana ityatma lakshanam satya sochakam anudyopadikasyaiva atayanti vinashanam. ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಣ ಆತ್ಮನಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷ. ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತುಗಳು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಆತ್ಮನು ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಘನ. ಒಂದು ಮಹಾವಾಕ್ಯವೇ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ. ಆತ್ಮನು ಸದಾ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಘನ. ಈ ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸೂಚಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆತ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೇವಲ ಹೊರ ನೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣತಕ್ಕಂಥ ದೇಹ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಉಪಾಧಿಗಳು ಈ ರೂಪ ನಾಶವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಶ್ರುತಿಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತವೆ. ಶ್ರುತಿಗಳು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಣ ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾದಂತಹ ಆತ್ಮನಿಗೆ ನಾಶವಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಹೊರಗಿನ ಉಪಾಧಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ನಾಶವಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಉಪನಿಷತ್, ಶ್ರುತಿಗಳು. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಣ ಇತಿ ಆತ್ಮಲಕ್ಷಣಂ ಸತ್ಯ ಸೂಚಕಂ ಅನೂದ್ಯೋಪಾದಿಕಸ್ಯೈವ ಕಥಯಂತಿ ವಿನಾಶನಂ. The nature of the Atman is truly indicated by saying that it is compacted by prajna, by the Upanishads. Upanishads say that the nature of the Atma Swarupa is truly compacted by the prajna, supreme consciousness, total awareness. So Atma is called Prajnanaghana. That is what Shrutis, Upanishads say. Having said that the Atma is nothing but Prajnanaghana, the Shrutis also declare that only the upadhis, the outer coverings like the physical body, the sense organs, the prana, buddhi, mana, internal component, antakarana, subtle body, all they are destroyed during the death. So during the death, what happens? Upadhis are destroyed. Physical body is an upadhi. Subtle body, your inner instrument, antakarana, is an upadhi. They are all destroyed, but not Prajnanaghana Swarupa Atma. Not the Atma. Not the Atma at all. That is the point. And Acharya continues. Avinashiva are ayamatma iti shrutirātmanah prabravīti avinashitvam vinashyatsu vikarishu. Avinashi va are ayamatma iti shrutiratmanah prabraviti avinashitvam vinashyatsu vikarishu. ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತುಗಳು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾಲ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಹೊಂದುತ್ತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ದೇಹ, ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕಾಲ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಆಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಕಾಲ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ನಾಶವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು ಆತ್ಮನು ಎಂದಿಗೂ ನಾಶವಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Acharya says that Upanishads declare that verily Atma is Avinashi. Verily Atma is Avinashi, indestructible. It cannot be killed. It's permanent as it is, ever existing without any change. It has no beginning and no end. It has no birth and no death. It is Avinashi. It is indestructible. Even though the things like physical body, they are changing constantly and getting destroyed. So what appears in the world, upadhis, like physical body is an upadhi. They appear, they change, they transform, and they will die one day. Things in the world vanish one day. But Atma remains always eternal, permanent, without any destruction. And Acharya continues this point. 4-line shloka. Pashana vriksha truna dhanya kadankaradya dagdha bhavanti hrudeva yatha tathaiva dehendriya sumana adi samasta drushyam jnanagdidagdham upayati paratma bhavam. Pashana vriksha truna dhanya kadankaradya dagdha bhavanti hrudeva yatha tathaiva देहेन्द्रिया सुमन आदि समस्त दृश्यम ज्ञानाग्नि दग्ध उपयाति परात्म भावम. 4 ಚರಣಗಳಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಮರವಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಹುಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಧಾನ್ಯದ ಹೊಟ್ಟಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸುಟ್ಟು ಹೋದ ನಂತರ ಮಣ್ಣೇ ಆಗುತ್ತವೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಭೌತಿಕ ಶರೀರ, ಅದರ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು, ಪ್ರಾಣ, ಮನಸ್ಸು ಮೊದಲಾದ ಈ ದೃಶ್ಯ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಜ್ಞಾನಾಗ್ನಿಯಿಂದ ದಗ್ಧನಾಗಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನೇ ಹೊಂದುತ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ನಾಶವಾದರೂ, ಈ ದೇಹ ನಾಶವಾದರೂ, ಸುಟ್ಟು ಹೋದರೂ, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಂದೂ ನಾಶವಿಲ್ಲ. So Acharya says, when completely burnt fully, even the stones, the trees, the grass, the grain, the cloth, the husk, everything turn into clay only finally. Ultimately, they transform into Prithvi Tattva, clay, mud, in other words. So to all that is perceived, like the body, organs, breath, mind, etc. are burnt away by the fire of jnana, and they attain the paramatma bhava. Acharya says, jnanagni dagdham upayati paratma bhavam. Everything will vanish. The transient things vanish. That which is born will vanish, will go away. And in the spiritual sense, upayati paratma bhavam, nothing remains other than pure supreme awareness, Brahma Chaitanya one. Always Atma Chaitanya remains as pure and eternal, no change. Only bodies will go, things will go, things will vanish. The world will vanish one day, but Atma will remain as it is. That is the point. Vilakshanam yatha dhvantam liyate bhanu tejasi tathaiva sakalam drishyam brahmani praviliyate. Next sloka. 2 lines. Vilakshanam yatha dhvantam liyate bhanu tejasi tathaiva sakalam drishyam brahmani praviliyate. ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಬೆಳಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ತಾನೇ ಆಗಿ ಮರೆಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆಯೋ, ಲಯವಾಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆಯೋ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಕಲ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ದೃಶ್ಯ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಲಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. As the darkness vanishes in the luster of the sunlight, when the sunlight is there, darkness no place, it just simply vanishes. Similarly, all that is perceived, all that is perceptible, all that is visible in this world merges into the Brahman, ultimate, in the final analysis. Verily, everything is Brahman. Only thing they appear different because the diversity is due to our illusion, due to the nature of the Maya. Things appear in different ways. But ultimately, when they vanish, only Brahma Vastu will remain. Only Brahma Vastu will remain. Because everything merges back into Brahman only, Paramatma only. All that has come out, all that has manifested will go back, involute itself during the Mahapralaya. Nothing remains. Only Parabrahma Vastu remains. That is the point Acharya is saying. So with Guru Sankalpa, we are stopping today at the shloka number 563. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavad. I have to apologize to all the viewers for last week for the technical glitch. I could not connect, and Professor Padaki ji was ready, but I was not able to connect and conduct the session. So my apologies due to everybody. May I be forgiven. And Happy New Year to everybody. May the new year bring us all the good tidings, as always. As Padaki ji was saying, every day is a new year. For a real yogi, does not matter. Every hour, every moment, every day is a new beginning. Dhanyavad, sir.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.